Hey everyone, Azsry here. Today I'm going to be showing you how I go through and make the new animations required for Black Ops 3, such as sliding, wall running, and mantling. So I've left in the description a link to download my new animation kit, and once you've downloaded and extracted that, you'll be given these two files. I did not include the conversion kit in this download because quite a few of you already have it. But for those that don't, I've left a link to the ModMe thread where you can download it. Just simply open it and scroll down to the bottom and use one of the download links depending on your Maya version, and use the decryption key under that download link to unlock the file. So once you've downloaded that, you'll be given these files. You can read on how to use it in the readme file, but for now we'll just be opening it up. So once you've opened it, you need to drag your gun model into the scene. So we assume that you've already done the binding for your gun and everything to add the extra models to it, like the scope. If you haven't, there's a link in the description on how to do that. And so I've got that file here, just drag it in. And then now we need to make our J-gun a child bone of tag weapon right. So find tag weapon right under the T7 joints, and then hold down middle click on J-gun and drag it into tag weapon right. At this stage, do not rename J-gun to tag weapon because it will mess up the animation that you import. So click on J-gun and then go to the channel box layer editor. If you do not have this, you can click on, I believe it is this one in the very top right hand corner, and then just put 0 for all the translate channels. So now that we have our gun in the middle of our hands, just go ahead and save this as the base scene for your gun so you don't have to do that again. And then now we have to import the idle animation for your gun. You can do this with Wraith or Lime, however you want, but I'm going to use Wraith's export because it comes out as a Mel script. And let's see. Yep, so we've got our idle animation. Just drag and drop it into Maya, and now we've got that done. And now here is where the new script comes into play. Now that we have our animation imported, we just drag and drop the setup arm rig script in. And if you get this issue where it says more than one object with the name J shoulder LE, just press Ctrl Z and then drag it in again, and it should set it up properly. Now you can save this again as the base, so then you can work on it. And now you will see that we have some controllers here what you can use to control the arms, and one here in the middle to control the gun, which moves the arms as well. So what we do is what I do is I pull off a perspective view here and I leave it on my second monitor. If you don't have the luxury of doing that, you can just leave it off to the side and keep alt tabbing. And then I have one in 90 FOV view so that I can see what it looks like. And then we start animating. So I know for the slide in animations, I click on the gun controller and then I go 10 frames forward, and then I move it slightly to the right, slightly back, and then I rotate the gun on the x-axis just a bit. Okay, that looks good. And then I move the left hand away from the gun, and then just rotate it however you feel looks correct, and then just get it off the screen. Yep, now we've got just a very simple slide in animation. And then for the slide loop, I go forward 20 frames, so that would be to frame 30. and then press S again to set another keyframe, and then I go in the middle and just play around with the rotations a bit, just make it a bit, a bit randomized, and then you can just play around with the position a bit just to make it not so static. And then for the slide out, just simply go back to frame 1 and right click copy, and then go to frame 40 and paste, and do the same for your left hand controller. I'll bring this into view here, and then you can press S on frame 30 to keep it down out of view. Go to frame 1, right click copy, go to frame 40, paste. There you go. Now you've got a very simple slide animation where you can just play it back, and that's what it looks like. If you feel that the slide loop goes for too long, you can just move this these two keyframes from frame 30 to frame 40 by holding down Shift and then dragging on the timeline and moving it over to wherever feels right. But for this tutorial, I'll leave it at 20 frames for the slide loop. Okay, and up next is the wall run. So wall running also needs wall running in, wall running loop, and wall running out. So it's pretty much the same technique, just go click on the gun controller, go forward 10 frames, move it to where you think looks correct. This is all just, personal preference. And then move the left hand out of view again. Just rotate it so that it does some natural movements. And yep. Oh, that's not natural. Yeah, that's alright. And then go forward 20 frames again. So that will be to frame 70. And then keyframe it. And then go to frame 60 in the middle. And then just slide it over a bit and change the rotation. And then make sure that your left hand is extremely out of the way for this one, because we're going to be doing quite a bit of movement. And just leave it there. And then, go to frame 55, move it up a bit, keyframe that, and then go to frame 65, and keyframe it up a bit again. And then if we watch that loop, it's not going to look very nice, it's going to be quite crude. So what we can do is go to Windows, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. So this will bring up, let's pause the animation, bring up this window, and so we can go in and tweak each axes and what they look like. So what I normally do is just watch the animation and play around with how much the gun moves and everything. So for example, I could just delete these and pull this down more on the y-axis, and that would make it move more violently on the on this axis. So I could just drag it down even more, or change the starting positions by highlighting the keyframes I want to move and dragging them up by holding Shift. And then we can just keep playing to see how that looks. And then we can just click on another axis here, and then just keep tweaking it to whatever we want. I'll just speed up this part so you don't have to watch what I'm doing. Also, just a tip to make your animations flow smoothly, you need to have the start and end of the graph flow into the next part. So for example, we have say this here, it's going down at this keyframe, but this one is going straight. So we want this one to also be aiming down, just like that. And then you can see that it's smoothed out slightly. You can do that for every other axis here, and just try and tweak it to give it some more power if you want. And yeah, just keep tweaking it until you feel like what you've got is nice enough. And yeah, here again, it's going straight here, but over here it's pointing up. So we need it to be pointing up at the end. Okay, and now that you've got a nice idle loop animation, I'll show you what my graphs look like so you can get a quick overview of what yours could look like. So my translate X never moves. My translate Y, I put one keyframe at 50 and 70 at the same place, and then 60 it's slightly down, so then I can go here and use the handles to change the intensity of the sine wave. My z-axis is pretty much just trying to emulate some sort of momentum. You can just keep dragging it around until you like it. And then my rotate X and rotate Z are pretty much never touched. And then my Y is just trying to get some bounciness to this movement, so that it looks like you are pulling the gun around. But yeah, that's just pretty much how you think about it. And then now to get the wall run out, we go forward 10 frames again, and then just expand our view, our timeline view, and right click and copy the first frame, paste it in there, and then go to our perspective view and do the same thing for our left hand. Just paste that in there. There you go. And then if you have moved your shoulder around at all, just copy that as well and move that over so that everything is the same at frame 80 and frame 0. You can just keep clicking between them to see if anything is different, and if it is, just try and fix that. So then now if we play through our animations, we should have slide and then a wall run. The wall run out will look a bit weird how it just pops back, but it looks fine in game. And here I can just spot a really strange arm twist, wrist twist, so I can go into the perspective view and just check out what's going on. So you can just fix that rotation a bit. that. So then it just, yep. And then we can just copy that over to 30 and copy this over to 30. There we go, just like that. We can just keep copying these around if we want. So yeah, it's like that, then like that, then like that. Alright, and now we've fixed all that outside of the view. You don't need to do that, but I just like to do it because it's a bit annoying if you see that. And now that we have that done, it's time to do the mantle. So the mantle I leave 30 frames to do, so 80 plus 30 is 10. So you go over to frame, say like go for 12 frames, like 92, and then move the gun over a bit, aim it down a bit, and sort of straighten it up a bit, keyframe that. Okay. Just try and tweak it so it doesn't do that. Yeah, like that's alright. And I guess another trick to make that not happen is to double click on your rotate tool, change the axis orientation to object, and then just close out of that. And then if you want, you can go in the middle and just give it a bit of Z increase, so then it does that. And then after that you want to go forward a couple frames, it doesn't really matter, and just pull it up a lot and rotate it up a bit like that. And then at your final frame, just copy the first frame again, put it over there, and then in the middle just have the gun pointing up a tiny bit and straighten it up. And yeah, just leave it like that. Then get your left hand and move it off screen by frame 90. Just rotate it again and put it just around there. And then if it comes into view here when you're doing it, you can just go back into perspective view and rotate it, and then like push it down even more. Make sure the elbow isn't messed up like that, so you can see what's going on properly. And then go back into your first person view, and then just about where you angled it up, you want your hand to come back, so just keyframe it a few frames before that. Go to a frame where it's holding the gun again, copy, don't cut it, and then just paste it near the end, maybe 3 to 4 frames before the end. And then also fix up your elbow pole vector on that same frame. There you go. Alright, so now that we've got that as well, we can just play through our animations. That's our slide, that's our wall run, and that's a mantle. And if you don't like how soft the mantle looks, you can just go back and tweak it in the editor again, the graph editor. So you can just say go over to your gun controller, select it first obviously, go to your translate Z, and then over here you can tweak how high it goes, that sort of thing, like that. And if you want it to like bob down a bit before it finishes the animation, just go a bit before the end, keyframe it, pull it down, just makes it look a bit more natural, like that. So we can play through it again. That's just what we got. You don't like the timing on that, so you can just add a few more frames to the end, just drag it out, and then Quick tip would be to go open your Hypergraph Hierarchy. You can find that in Windows Hypergraph Hierarchy. Click this button to show all nodes and select everything. Just zoom out enough so you can select everything. And then you can retime everything by just shift highlighting and then dragging them out like that. So now it covers a few more frames for those last keyframes. Sort of like that, yeah. Also you can like retime the climbing part if you don't like how slowly that happens. Let's see, like that. You can just oops, these parts, and just move it a bit closer, then move these ones over. Yeah, like that. So then if you play it back, it looks a bit more in real time. And once you've done that, you can go to exporting. So you go Call of Duty Tools, Export Xanim, and then here under slot 1 we choose frames 1 to 10, like that, which will be our slide in. Under our outliner here, we need to rename the joints so that it doesn't export the wrong things. Click on Joints T7, go select Hierarchy, and then use the script from the conversion rig called remove namespace. Just drag that in, and it should remove all the T7 suffixes. So now that we've got all that selected, sorry, we don't yet. We just go to Tags Torso, Control click Tag Cambone, select Hierarchy. That should select everything that we need, and go Save Selection. And then you can check this if you want to use it to export multiple slots at once. I'll do that, and then we can go Save To, and we can choose wherever we want to export it. I'll put this on a T6 DSR50 and name it whatever you want, and this will slide in. Yep, Save Selection, go to slot 2, click Save Selection again because we've got the same stuff. Change this frame to from the 30, I think it was 30. Yep, okay, so we did from frame 10 to frame 30 for the loop. Export multiple, Save Selection, and then go View Model, DSR50, Slide Loop. Once you've done that, you can finally click Export Multiple Slots, and then you can save that if you want. I'm not going to right now because I'm going to rename it something later. So then you can see it exporting everything that we've done. Alright, you can close this window, and then I'm going to save Scene As here, and go DSR T7 Anims. Okay, and now we can go to our Black Ops 3 Xanim exports T6 DSR50 and sort by date modified, and you'll see all the ones that we just exported. And then now you can use either Kronos or export to bin. I'm going to use Kronos for this one because it's a bit easier. Just open that up, click on this little cube, and then just drag and drop your Xanim exports in there, and it will leave them all in the exported files folder. Just copy all these and put them back into your Xanim export folder because they need to be in here for Ape. And then go to your Black Ops 3 bin folder and open up the Asset Manager Modules exe file. And once that is loaded, we can start adding the animations to our GDTs. So here we can just sort by GDT, go DSR50. And then down here, you can see I've made all the other ones for the gun. You can just go to any of them, right click duplicate and start renaming it to slide in. Change the anim file to sort by date modifier is easier. Slide in and then duplicate again, loop. Check looping for any ones that need to loop, obviously. And yeah, keep duplicating it until we've finished all of them. Make sure you don't loop the ones that aren't meant to loop. And then, now we've done the slides, we just go to do the wall runs. Wall run in, wall run loop, check looping, and wall run out, uncheck looping, and wall run out, yep. And finally we got to do the mantle, just like that. Save those and let it update, and then go to your DSR50 bullet weapon. Scroll down all the way to the X-anims section. Okay, so your TRM is your mantling animations. Here they've got quite a few different ones for how high the wall is, but it doesn't really matter because if the wall is too high, you're just going to boost up and then use the low animation anyway. So just use the mantle, copy paste it for each of the ones that has AP9 or the gun. Don't change the bare hands ones. And then there we go, just paste all those. And then for your slide in, just find your slide in animations. In air doesn't really change anything, you can just use the same slide in. And find the loop. And find the out, and the same for your wall run, just copy those, yeah, and fill in all the fields, and we should be done. So now if we go into the launcher and compile a map that has it, so if you don't have your gun on a map ready, you can just click on it, tick it, open it in Radiant. And then in your view here, if you don't have the entity browser, you can just press right click anywhere here and find entity browser, and then just go to weapon, find your weapon, and then just drag and drop it onto your scene, and it should be right there. Just move it up a bit so it's not in the ground, and we should have two weapons near the box here. So just press Ctrl S to save that, close Radiant now, and then click compile, link, and run, and then build. Just wait for that to finish. I mean, it compiled it. And here it says, running Black Ops 3 with dev map MP box map. That's the name of the map that I compiled just then. When we load in now, just change timescale to speed it up. You can see that we have our new weapon here. Just pick that up. So yeah, that's how you do the slide animations, the mantle animations, and the wall run animations for any previous gun. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope that you learned something, and please give it a like and comment anything that you have troubles with. And I'll see you in the next video. See ya.